Yo, what is going on, everyone? My name is Mewtwo Fan Nate, and I'm your coach of the New York Noibats. It is the second week of the P4G, and we are going up against my good buddy Tyler, aka DeathlyIam, of the Seattle Drizzlers. So, if you guys don't know how I like to do my team builders, pretty much we list off all the Pokemon that we have drafted. We talk about team matchup just a little bit, and then we go into our sets. So, if you guys enjoy this kind of thing, you want to make sure that these don't go away, then make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment what you think about the team, what you think about the team matchup. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below. I always respond to every single comment. So yeah, make sure you guys do that. I know this isn't like the most supported thing on my channel, especially considered when you compare that to the actual battles themselves. So, you know, if you do, especially if you don't want these to go away and you're watching them and you're enjoying them, make sure you do let me know. So, without further ado, we're just going to go into the Pokemon. So you guys can see my team right down below. Of course, we have the legendary meme team itself. We have the Wigglytuff, Doublade, Vaporeon, Piloswine, Dodrio, Shelgon, Acelgor, Girder, Lurantis, and the Electivire and Torracat. So, that's my team, and the Seattle Drizzlers, they have the Empoleon, Alola, Talonflame, Virizion, Espeon, Gligar, Shedinja, Drampa, the Rhyperior, Electros, and Glaceon. So, pretty much what I think about team matchup is that Empoleon plus Alola and Talonflame are absolutely terrifying. The combination of those three Pokemon are super good, especially against my team. My team pretty much has a very huge knockoff weakness, and the fact that he has the Alola with stab knockoff, which hits really hard, it's terrifying for me. So, and the fact that Alola is also like can throw off like really hard hitting gunk shots and poison moves, and my best switch into poison type moves, it's probably the Doublade and my Piloswine, and neither of those things want to get knocked off, so it's kind of a really bad matchup for me. This is one of those things where I don't know, no matter how good of a team that I build, no matter how well I play, it's one of those things where I don't know if I can win. So it's going to be a tough one for sure. I know that that Empoleon is really scary because it's like a really weird speed tier where if it does the right speed creeping, it can be kind of offensive yet really bulky. I'm hoping that he's just not running any speed. Like See, the thing is, though, I know that Deathly didn't really have as much help in the APA as I think he does in the P4G, so it's going to be kind of hard. So I'm going to just hope that he's not running any speed on that, because it's going to be really tough to deal with something that has a lot of speed on it, or just even a little bit, because I sped crept a bunch of my Pokemon to be able to speed creep a non-invested Empoleon. So we're going to just hope that we get lucky with that kind of thing. The other things that are really scary on his team are the Espeon, because Espeon just it kind of like, again, like my one switch into psychic type moves on this team is pretty like, or in general like on my draft, is most likely going to be the Doublade, and Doublade can it just doesn't have good SPDEF, and it can always can just get hit with a Shadow Ball. So it's going to be really hard for this matchup. I definitely don't have the best matchup. The other things that I'm kind of worried about are Drampa. Like, I think Drampa has a pretty good matchup on my team. Like I said, my team kind of lacks a little bit on the special defensive side, and the fact that my physical defense really relies on Eviolite just makes this game really hard. I'm not really too worried about Shedinja. Like, I have pretty much coverage, like with Shadow Sneak, knockoff, and like fire type moves and stuff like that, flying type moves. Like, I have the coverage to deal with Shedinja, where I'm not really too worried about that thing. So we're just gonna like not care about it and like not really prep for it. Like, we have the coverage, kind of like we hit other things on his team for super effective damage that we would hit just by hitting like Shedinja as well. So you know what I mean. Rhyperior is kind of scary. I'm really scared of like a rock polish, like weakness policy set. So I'm really worried about that. But he could just be really bulky, and then I think that thing has like base 140 attack, so it can just hit hard no matter what. Like, it doesn't even have to be invested. The Electros I'm not really too worried about because like I do have a lot of physically attacking like Pokemon on my team, so and usually that thing runs like Assault Vest and things like that, so I'm not really too worried. Like I feel like it's more specially defensive than like physically defensive, and I have a lot of physical attacking moves on my team, and I think we'll be fine. I think that's going to be kind of easy to deal with. I know it's going to be hard to switch into. It's going to be very hard to switch into for sure. But as far as going for, as far as like killing it or knocking it out, I don't think that's going to be an issue. Glaceon's also kind of scary against my team if he brings it. Like again, like the only real ice type switch in on my team is my Doublade, and of course that thing gets Shadow Ball, and Shadow Ball actually destroys me. So there's not much I can do there. So as far as my team goes against him, I think that obviously Doublade on the Doublade on the screen has a pretty good matchup. I think that the combination of like ghost type moves plus steel type moves can do pretty well, especially with the priority Shadow Sneak. I think we're looking pretty good with that kind of thing. I think that my Dodrio has a really good matchup because it does outspeed the majority of his team, and with Z moves we can kind of just like, we just need a little bit of chip damage on things, and then we can kind of just like nuke something with Dodrio. We do have like a pretty good matchup with our Piloswine as well. The combination of like Earthquake plus the Icicle Crash and Ice Shard do a lot of work to his team. Like we can hit Empoleon, the Alomomuck, the Virizion, Gligar, and the Drampa, and the Rhyperior. So a lot of the Pokemon on his team with Piloswine for like really hard super effective damage, or just hard hitting like neutral coverage. You know what I'm saying? So I think with that being said, I think those are like pretty much like my biggest threats to his team. I also before I go too further into it, the Lurantis, I don't know why I can't speak. Lurantis actually has a pretty decent matchup. I think I want to lead with it. I'm not too sure. If I see Empoleon, I'm probably going to lead with it because I think that thing is going to want to sub Stealth Rocks. So I'll probably try leading off with it because we can click Superpower, get a boost. If he wants to switch out into anything, I'll probably just try clicking Knockoff, because I think that if he switches into something like Talonflame, I might be able to knock off like a Life Orb, or if he switches out into like Espeon, because maybe he wants to resist a fighting type move like Superpower, we could do that. Or if he switches in, if he has Shedinja, we can hit that thing with a knockoff. If he switches into Alola Muck, I might regret it because then maybe I'll want to go for the Superpower, like a +1 Superpower on it. But the thing is though, if knockoff isn't really an entirely too bad of a play as well, because we can kind of just knock off like a Assault Vest, maybe like a Figgy Berry, one of those kind of things, and it would definitely help us, because if we do knock off an Assault Vest, then we can assume maybe he's Poison Touch. If it's like a berry, then we'll know he's Gluttony, that kind of thing. So it would give us some decent knowledge, I guess. So without further ado, we're gonna go into our sets. As always, if you guys do enjoy, make sure you do hit that like button, of course. So we have our Doublade here, and these are pretty like standard like ideas of like what I've decided I was gonna do with this team. So pretty much what we did with like almost everything on this team is we sped crept our things, and then we kind of dumped the remaining EVs into, you know, whatever it was that we needed it, like what we thought we just, you know, could dump it in. So pretty much we have our Lancelot, our Doublade here, and it's got some speed on it. You guys can see we have 164 EVs of speed on this thing. So pretty much what that's gonna do is it's gonna let me outspeed a non-invested Muck. It's actually gonna let me it's actually gonna put me over non-invested Muck. So it's gonna let me like if he wants to run some speed on it, because Muck is such an amazing offensive threat to my team, he might want to throw some speed into it just to make sure that he's outspeeding things like my Piloswine, that I believe that they normally speed tie. I think they're both base 50, so he might want to throw some speed on there, just outspeed it like a non-invested Piloswine. Speed creeping maybe my what's your name? Wigglytuff. Can't believe I forgot the tough. He might want to speed creep like Lurantis, which might want to like outspeed it with a superpower, that kind of thing. So I think it's you know, I think you could definitely throw some speed on that thing. So I think that's why I decided I was going to go with the speed investment on the Lancelot. We have 252 in attack, adamant nature, so and then we just threw the rest into our HP defense and our SPDEF. So that's going to be pretty much what we have as far as EVs goes. The Swords Dance, Iron Head, Shadow Sneak, Magnet Rise is actually really interesting against him. So pretty much like after a Swords Dance, we can do a lot of damage. So pretty much I feel like this might bait in potentially the Alola Muck. So if he does switch it in and I go for a Swords Dance, Iron Head could actually potentially knock him out. So we have that option. So, and then there's the option of Rhyperior, which can hit me with like a Earthquake. So we have Magnet Rise on there because after Magnet Rise, it can only hit me with like Rock type moves. Because I don't see him bringing like Fire Punch or anything like that, because pretty much like my walls would be like potentially the Vaporeon, maybe the oh my god, what's your name? Torracat, like with like Intimidate. So I feel like, you know, he doesn't really need like a Fire Punch, because Fire Punch doesn't really do much to like anything. Like I don't expect him to try to like bring something for like a physically defensive Lurantis or anything like that. So if he does, then he's got me good, but I don't think so. So I think Magnet Rise would actually be probably like the best way of avoiding Earthquakes and just being able to set up on it further, or just hitting it with an Iron Head, get some really good damage on it. So that's going to be pretty much the set that we have for this thing. Let me know what you guys think of that below, especially the Magnet Rise. I think the Magnet Rise could be really cool if we pull it off. So the next Pokemon we have is our Lurantis, and again we are just kind of doing our basic EVs with our speed creeping. So pretty much we have enough speed to outspeed a non-invested Empoleon. The Empoleon pretty much, if with no speed or anything like that, no decreasing or increasing nature, just it's pretty much got a speed tier of like 80, like, so we're at 81 right here. So that's why I feel like this might be the magic number. So we have enough speed to outspeed that kind of thing. We're adamant max attack, and then we just threw the rest in our HP. And then just to make sure that we didn't have any leftover EVs, we threw the 4 into both of our defenses. So we were rocking the contrary ability with Superpower Knockoff, Leaf Blade. We have our leftovers just to get some gradual health. You know, maybe we switched into some Stealth Rocks or something like that. You know, the Superpower, like I said, is nice. I think I might want to lead with this thing. I'm not sure if I said that already, because I feel like if he does bring the Empoleon, he's probably going to want to lead with it, set up some Stealth Rocks, and hitting that thing with a Superpower can definitely do some big boy damage. Maybe he'll go switch out, and I'll click Knock Off on something coming in, get some valuable information, knock off a huge item that could be really useful for me. The next Pokemon we're going to talk about is our Zero. So I feel like there's really, like, this is pretty basic, like, just not, you guys know what Defog does, just gets rid of hazards. I don't want to spend too much of your time, you know, and that kind of thing. So we have our Zero here. So pretty much what the Zero is supposed to do for me is switch into Talonflame, switch into the Virizion if he wants to bring that, and that's pretty much it. So like this thing can just fire off some Intimidates, you turn around, maybe throw off a Toxic on something. We have our Flare Blitz just as our only attacking move, and Hidden Power Rock just for the Talonflame. So pretty much what this is really going to do is just switch into Talonflame. Takes 25 to 30% from Brave Bird from Talonflame, which is actually amazing. So the Hidden Power Rock is for the Talonflame as well. The Impish nature doesn't really matter that much, because even though we're decreasing our special attack, the Hidden Power Rock still 2-KOs it. If we were modest max special attack, it didn't OHKO, so it was always going to be 2-KO. anyway, and I felt like putting the EVs into our defense was more important. Now, I know you guys might see that we have an even number of HP with the 172. That's just fine. I didn't mean to do it that way. Is that I had it set up where if I wasn't rocking Hidden Power Rock, it would have done it or something like that. Or maybe I had it from like level 100. But when I put it down to level 50, it became 172. So the whole thing doesn't really matter that much. It was already genned in, so it doesn't matter. The whole defense thing, it's fine. Yeah, we're good. This thing's gonna be really bulky anyway. Of course the item is Eviolite because we want to boost our defenses and things like that, and that's pretty much gonna be it. So we're gonna move on to our next Pokemon on the team, which is gonna be our Chops. Chops is making his debut back in Season 3. So we did have our Piloswine in the second season of the P4G, and it put in a lot of work. It helped me win a bunch of games for sure, and I'm really excited to be using it again. So pretty much we're using it like a very different way than I've used it in the past. We're running a Life Orb. We're running a Life Orb one. And the thing that's cool about that is we are running that magic speed creeping number of 81 speed to outspeed a non-invested Empoleon. So pretty much if we do outspeed the Empoleon, we'll probably outspeed the Muck, and that's really all that matters. And you know, Drampa as well, Electro. So it's the speed is really huge on this thing. If we don't outspeed something, it's without our Eviolite, we're going to be taking some huge damage, and it's not going to be fun. So pretty much we just have Stealth Rock, Icicle Crash, Ice Shard, and Earthquake. With the Life Orb and Adamant Max Attack, we actually do a lot of damage to his team. The Earthquake hits really hard, and whatever we don't hit with Earthquake really hard, we hit with Icicle Crash. So I'm really excited about this Life Orb set. I think it's going to put in the finest of work. There's really not too much to say about it other than, you know, the general coverage of, you know, what it's already going to hit. So we're going to move on. We're going to talk about our Dodrio, the triple threat. We have a Z move on this thing, so hopefully that thing will pop off and we can get a decent thumbnail, I guess. We have Swords Dance, Brave Bird, Jump Kick, and Return. So I was debating whether I wanted to go with Stomping Tantrum or the Jump Kick. So we ended up deciding going with Jump Kick. I felt like Jump Kick just hit more. It hit the Glaceon, and I wanted to make sure that I could potentially hit that thing, because since I'm not really too prepared for Glaceon, it made a lot of sense. It definitely made a lot of sense to prep for that. Just because if you look at it, the Glaceon in my team, the only thing that's really switching in is the Blade. So, and because that thing has a Shadow Ball, it has access to that thing. It's not something that I want to lose to. So we have Brave Bird because after Swords Dance, Brave Bird just nukes everything. Jump Kick, of course, just with the Z move, destroys lives. Return is just our other stab move. We didn't really need anything else. So we're just kind of going with that. We have Jolly Max Speed to Speed Slide with the Espeon, Max Attack, just to hit as hard as possible, and 4 in Spadef. We didn't really need to put it anywhere else. So that's going to be the Dodrio set, and now we're going to move on to the last and final Pokemon on the team, and that is our Vaporeon. So Vaporeon is running a really interesting EV spread, so pretty much it's mostly Spadef, and the reason why we have it more so invested in our special defense is so that way we can take on Espeon, because Espeon is scary, and we don't want to switch into Psychics, and this is literally the only thing on my team that can really take on the Psychic plus Shadow Ball. So that's what we're doing. We're running a Spadef Vaporeon, and we have leftover EVs to make sure that we're not wasting our defense investments or anything like that. So pretty much like the 180 in Spadef with the Calm Nature does let me take 2 Psychics from a Specs Espeon. The only thing is, though, it's like we can't really do too much back to it. Like we can Scald Burn it maybe. I can't really Toxic it because of the Magic Bounce. So we can kind of wish, protect, scald on that thing, and hopefully it's not running like a wish, protect, sec kind of thing too. So because then I wouldn't really be able to knock it out, because I don't believe our scald is 2-hit KOing it. So we kind of just have to rely on it being like specs or whatever. So, or life orb, that would be ideal. Life orb would probably be ideal. Yeah, because I don't think it gets moves that could hit Vaporeon super effectively. So that's what we're gonna go with, I guess. That's gonna be the team for this week, guys. So let me know your thoughts down below. I will hopefully see you tomorrow for the battle.